So hey guys, welcome back to the second session of the first unit. As I said, this is the second video of the first unit. We will be covering here the values, data types and all this stuff. So let us step into the concept of values. So in values, you guys can see on the screen, value is the actual data stored inside a variable. So if you guys remember that we learned that what are variables, right? Variable is a name that we are giving to a value that we are storing inside a variable, right? Variable is the name of the word that we are storing a value in that word, right? Simply, the value means the actual data stored in that variable. So here you guys can see the examples that 10, 20.5, Python and 2, right? These are the values. And now coming to data types, Python supports different types of values. Okay. You guys can know that in our daily life we have different type of values, right? If for an instance you we can see that integers, in that integers, negative numbers, positive numbers, and float, decimal values, right? All this stuff, right? So likewise in Python programming language, mostly in data types concept, we can see that how many type of values can Python accept. Okay, so here you guys can see that the data types that Python supports. So this is the integer data type we guys can see, and 10.5 is a float data type and Python is a string data type. True is a boolean data type and one more boolean data type is there that is known as false. And I have already said that whatever string values we want to store in Python programming language, those values must be stored in double quotes, right? And float values are decimal values and integer values are all the positive and negative integer values. So for example, you guys can see here age equals to 20, height equals to 5.8, language equals to Python, each student is equals to true. This is a student course details that is being stored. So, so let us practically look into these data types. So, yeah, let's first know what are the values. Okay, here I will be storing student details. Okay, salary is equals to 50,000 and height is equals to 6.1. So, yes, here you guys can see that I have created five variables that are storing different values, right? Name is John Doe and his age is 20 and he is living in New York and his salary is 50,000 and his height is 6.1 feet, right? Here I stored different data types, different types of values. Those types are known as data types, right? Here John Doe is a string data type and 20 is an integer data type. New York is a string data type and 50,000 is again an integer data type. 6.1 is an float data type, right? I covered all the data types and all the value concept in this practical session. Okay. So let us step into the next concept that we have to know. So yeah, here in variables on the screen, you guys can see that variables can store different types of values. I have already said at beginning of this session of unit 1 first video session. In that video, I have said that we can store any type of value in a particular variable, right? We can create number of variables, but one thing is we have to follow the rules that are there for creation of variables. Okay, we can store any type of values. Those we have already seen in this session. Those are known as data types. Okay, here you can see the examples. Name is equals to Jeevan, A is equals to 20, CGPA is 8.5, is placed equals to false. Okay, these are the example that it is explaining that we can store any kind of value for a particular variable, any type of value for a particular variable. And then variables can also change values. So here score equals to 10 and the same score is equals to 100, and while printing score it is giving us the output as 100. Because one more thing I have to say you guys, that Python is a interpreted language. So in programming languages, there are two types of languages. One is compiled language and one is interpreted language. Compiled means the whole data we are writing in a file will be compiled at a time. That is, any number of lines we have written in a file, it will be compiled in a single tap. But while coming to interpreted language, it will be executing the whole file step by step, line by line, it will be executing the file. So Python is an interpreted language. That's why you guys can see here that uh, in first score variable, we have stored 10 here, and in second name of the score variable, we have stored 100. So while printing the score, we are getting 100 here as the output. So this is the variables and value concept. And let us next get into the Python keywords concept. Here, keywords are the reserved words that have a special meaning in Python. So, you guys should know that keywords means in Python programming language, those words are the reserved words. Those will be having a particular meaning to a particular word, that is known as the keyword. Okay, you guys can see here the examples that these all are the keywords we are going to use in Python programming language in coming lectures. Okay, I have already shown you guys that these words in the particular modules that we are going to learn in our journey. I have showed you guys the roadmap. In that roadmap, I included all these stuff, right? So these are the some of the keywords we are going to use in the Python programming language. Okay, every keyword has a particular meaning. It will work according to that meaning. So these are the keywords, and these cannot be used as variable names. Okay, we can't use these words as variable names. We have already seen in the variable session, right? We have already went through the rules. So in that rules, we have learned that we can't use the keyword names as variable names. Okay. For example, here you guys can see that for equals to 10, but it's a wrong statement. It's a wrong statement because for is a keyword in Python programming language. It has a reserved meaning. So it must work according to that meaning only. We can't use this for keyword as a variable name. So it's a wrong statement, and the correct statement is marks equals to 10. Marks is the user defined or user created variable name. So this statement is completely correct. So let us once go through the practical session. In that session, we have to practice about the keywords and all this stuff. Let us clear the code that we written previously. I will be showing you guys that can we use keywords as variable names or not. So as we seen in example, I will be using the same keyword that is for, and I will be assigning a value here. You guys can see on the screen. For equals to 10. So is it true? Is it correct? Absolutely not. So that's why it is showing that it is an incorrect statement, because for is a keyword. You guys can't use keywords as variable names.